Not sure what stopped. Hopefully that was recorded. As I said, we just crossed out of New York City. We're on the beginning of the OCA. There are parts of it that look like this sort of narrow trail, literally through people's backyards, because it is a right-of-way. This makes it a little bit difficult to find sometimes because people whose houses it goes through don't necessarily want you to ride through the back of their houses. We come out here, there used to be, I think, these Queen Anne's lace. Oh, it looks like they cut them down. Used to come out here, you could hardly see where you were. So now you have your choice. You're on a street in Yonkers, and you could ride to the OCA on Alan Shepard Boulevard. I'm going to stay on this. As I said, got the right equipment today. It's a nice day. It didn't rain that much, and it's much prettier than the rest. And the idea is to sort of show people how to get in from Tibbetts Brook Park. So the one thing about riding here is you have to pay attention. Can't take things for granted because this is not really kept up. So there are stones and twigs and things like that. You know, I've actually never gotten a flat on the OCA. So somebody's making sure they're not bottles, things like that. But in general, and here it looks very narrow, but there's room for a bicycle. And you see a lot of the OCA if you're going to ride it. There's McLean Avenue, that'll take you right to Alan Shepard. You just have to sort of see where it starts again. Here it's, you know, directly parallel to where we're crossing the street. Some places it's displaced a block or two. So when you ride the OCA the first time, it's reasonably but not super well marked on Google Maps. Probably better to follow someone who knew what they were doing on Strava. You can also buy a physical map. There used to be a store on near Grand Central. There's a place that sold it, or you could go to, it was Ossining or one of the little towns on the Hudson had a tourist store, visitor center that sold the maps. And I did this before Google Maps, maybe before Google Maps, certainly before it had any of this information. So I have a copy of that original map. Not that much has changed in the subsequent years. Anyway, you can see it's a little bumpy. Now, at some point, we're going to need to make a right turn. It's not for a while. Hi. There are a couple of places that you can turn here. It may take you, it's only about, it's less than a quarter mile to the streets, and I don't know if you can see it on the camera. You need to get one of those head-mounted cameras, I guess, but I'm actually right next to the street, sort of in a trough, and the street is nearby. on a bicycle, it's always a question whether you should warn someone you're coming down. It's not as obvious a decision because, you know, the nice thing about warning someone is they're not surprised when you zoom by them and you don't get a reaction like that. The disadvantage is when you don't warn them, they react much more predictably. They don't see you coming, you zoom by. When you warn somebody, even ring a bell, you're never really sure what they're going to do. And so it's an added level of complexity. My bell fell off, and so I don't like yelling hey unless it's a car, people. So I'm just explaining that I'm sensitive to these things. Not a jerk bicycle rider. Zooming by pedestrians. Look. You can see whenever you have a choice of these two lanes, you always take the higher one. Invariably, it'll be better shape. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. And we're back on dry land. And you can see a tunnel up ahead. And we want to go through that tunnel. At least theoretically, we want to go through that tunnel. Now, the only reason I say theoretically is it's often very wet. So sometimes I go over, you know, up that road and over. Let's see what it looks like today. And even when it hasn't rained, this tunnel is in bad shape. It's got a lot of leaves, and so you don't really know what's there. Yeah, it's pretty, this is pretty treacherous. I guess I would have ridden that. I'm always a little bit hesitant to ride if don't want to have someone do something they're not used to doing. Now, we want to get on that road. The road gets crappy here, so anywhere you feel like kind of cutting down is good. So to the left is where we're going to get to the South County Trailway. To the right is that continuation of the old Croton Aqueduct, and